virtual summit, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to even pick up and just hear more about all the great things that have already been said, and then even hear more from the other speakers to come.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So before you start your presentation, I would like to introduce you to the audience. So
Okay.
welcome on stage Monica Hill. She is the business and leadership coach who helps high achieving women leaders and professionals reclaim clarity, confidence, and purpose through reinvention. She brings over 2 decades of experience in high pressure professional environments, and her work centers on helping women move beyond burnout by reconnecting with their authentic voice and redefining leadership on their own terms. Through her coaching and speaking, she empowers women to make confident decisions, cultivate sustainable leadership, and create meaningful impact in their organizations and community. So that is the introduction of Monica Hill. So yes, the stage is all yours, Monica. Good luck.
Thank you. Hello, 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 everyone. And so I'm so excited today to have this opportunity to speak. Thank you, Melinda, for that introduction. And today is a little bit different, even though a lot of what I do is helping women. I'm actually in the process of reinventing, which is what our topic is today, is about reinventing work. And so I'll share with you a little bit about my background and how I got to where I am now. But yeah, the goal is to help reinvent how we work in the workplace. And so I want to start with a question though. Imagine, or can you, if I was to ask you, if I was to tell you that there was a company somewhere in the world today that just hired their first employee, their next employee rather, and that employee is the fastest employee they have. That employee never sleeps, works 24/7. They never had to interview them, never had to hire them. Do you think you would hire that employee? And then just to reframe that question, what if I was to tell you that that same employee has the potential to not replace your current employees, but to actually increase their productivity, help them be more efficient, help them be more creative, and overall just create more impact in your organization? And so that's the opportunity that I'm here to speak to today around AI. So it's not specifically about AI, artificial intelligence. What it really is about is how we reinvent leadership, how we're in the process of, and how we need to reinvent the idea of what work looks like. Because AI is here to stay, it's not going anywhere. And so the question is, will you be an organization or will you be a leader that's going to embrace it and then and use it to help grow your business faster, easier, smoother? Or will you sit on the sidelines and wait while other companies do it? Right. And so again, the question isn't whether AI will change work. The question really is, will we change work? Will we be the ones that are willing to make those changes in our organization and in our leadership skills, right? And so again, my background, and so again, if you had told me, say, 20 years ago that I would be speaking on an international stage about using AI to transform the workforce, I probably would have thought you were a little crazy because one, I was shy and quiet, right? And then two, because my background has always been in healthcare. So for 21 years, I've been a licensed physical therapist, and and all those 2 decades of serving in the healthcare industry have been around helping helping my patients recover from surgery, recover from injury, to help them regain their independence, helping them be able to really just change and change their mindset, and just really embrace where they are in their journey and helping them regain their mobility and where they previously were in life. And so what I realized through that journey though is it's not always the strongest person that has the best success. Oftentimes the transformation happens first in the mindset before even the physical. And that's the same thing I want to hopefully empower you and help you to understand as we move forward today, is that if you're an organization or you're a leader and you're looking to figure out how to embrace AI into your corporation, it first starts with the willingness and the desire to shift our mindsets and to make that transformation in the mindset. But you can see here, so like I said, I've worked in healthcare, but I've also done some things in business. My background, I've also have a background in marketing, business coaching, and some business strategy. And so I'm also now an AI certified consultant, an AI agent builder. And so now my goal is really helping corporations be able to grow and scale their company, companies by implementing AI tools and strategies to help them, help their team work more efficiently and help their business grow and scale much easier and faster. Right. So every generation has faced some shift in some major shift in how we do work, right? So for our grandparents, it was the industrial revolution, right? So there were the machines that took away a lot of the physical labor that people had to do, and so people had to learn new skills. They had to learn how to use the machines and things like that. But it helped make productivity, it helped make things faster, right? Using these machines. And then for our parents and for some of those maybe here, it was the digital world. So the personal computer, moving on into the internet. And so that brought information to our fingertips. I remember growing up as a kid, we had the whole Encyclopedia Britannica bookshelf full of books. And so in order to figure out something, you had to go look at, go look up in the Britannica to figure out what something meant or the background behind something. And now we have information at our fingertips, right? But the next revolution that's here and in the process, but still in the very beginning phases, is the AI revolution. And AI revolution is basically bringing intelligence to demand. So now, instead of having to go to school to get all these degrees, we can actually go in and get the intelligence of some of these industries on demand, right? Which is amazing. But it does change how we start to look at work, right? And so again, it's transitioning from physical labor to information, now intelligence. So what's the benefit of using intelligence to now grow us in the industry? And so again, as you see that but in each of those phases of reinventing the workforce, there's always kind of been two groups, right? There's that one group that's a little bit resistant, they're trying to hold on to the past. They may have some fear of change, fear of uncertainty. And so a lot of times those people miss out on opportunities because they wait until, I don't know if you ever heard of the adaptation curve, right? So usually there's a few, and then there becomes the masses, and there's like the last few at the end that kind of trickle on. And so typically those that jump on the bandwagon early on, though, those are the ones that get the most benefit from these new revolutions and these new changes in society. And so some people are going to resist, they're going to have fear, they're going to stay stagnant, and they're going to wait until they see everybody else do it. But then now their corporations are behind, versus those people that choose to reinvent. So these are like my patients who sometimes have to reinvent themselves. If I have a patient that's had a stroke, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to be 100% back to who they were when they first started, but they can still reinvent what life looks like for them now, and then given their new circumstances, their new limitations, whatever that looks like. And so when we start to embrace AI into business and in corporations, what does that look like to reinvent? So it starts with embracing change, embracing the possibilities, understanding and gaining awareness of what those possibilities even look like. And it involves being willing to learn, to adapt, and to lead, and then being willing to apply those things to future pace and to see how that can truly grow your business moving forward. Right. And so again, the future doesn't belong to AI. It belongs to the people who learn to use AI and to work with AI. And so some people are very fearful that AI is going to take employee, going to lose their job, whatever. And so the reality is that people are going to need to learn this new skill of how to use AI in a corporation to be relevant. Because AI isn't going anywhere. I'll probably say that 10 times, right? But AI is not going anywhere. But the key is, how do we use it to enhance what we're already doing? It's not replacing people. It's how do we build that together? And so we're going to talk a little more about that as we move forward, right? So what are the advantages of AI? Again, the goal is to work smarter, serve better, scale faster. And so you're going to use AI to help you with that. But AI can help you automate the repeatable tasks that are slowing down your processes, right? It can help you elevate your experience of how you interact with your customers. It can help you accelerate the growth by helping implement faster strategies, faster follow-up, faster sequences and processes, workflows that you would need to grow your business, right? And so again, what does that look like? It's transforming how we save. It's allowing us to save time, right? Because we're automating things. It helps us increase impact because now we can touch more people faster. We can make better decisions. we're actually able to elevate those experiences, because now we're not only able to speak to customers faster and respond, but we can also have more custom experiences and relationships with them. It helps us operate more efficiently as well as scale with confidence. And so these are some of the key ways that AI is going to help you with growing your workforce and implementing these things to transform your business. Right. And so I like to say that there's like 5 key areas of reinventing that we're going to have to start to embrace. Right. And the first one, as I mentioned earlier, when I talked about my patient, is it's around the mindset shift. Right. So it's not so much the physical. The first thing is starting with the mindset shift. So we have thinking, leadership, teams, productivity, innovation. And so we're going to talk through each one of those. Right. So reinventing, number one, the thinking process. So again, great leaders ask better questions. So this isn't so much about you having all the answers, but it's about how do we start to think and ask different questions. So instead of asking a question like, "Hey, what AI tool?" So most people, when they think of AI, the first kind of question is like, "What tool should I be using?" Well, the truth is, there's probably probably thousands of tools out there now, and so it's not necessarily the tool. The first thing you want to ask is, what business problem are you trying to solve? What outcomes are you looking for? And that's going to help to start to work backwards to figure out like what processes you need to have in place, what workflows you need to have in place, and then ultimately what tools are going to help you accomplish all those things. So again, it's not so much starting with what AI tool, it's starting with what's the outcome, what's the problem that you're trying to solve, and then we work backwards to do that. All right. And then instead of how do we automate, is what creates the greatest value. Right. So again, that goes back to, it's always about what's the outcome, what's the value that we're trying to accomplish, what's the outcome, the result. And so what's going to create the greatest value, save the most time, help you be most efficient in your processes to help you grow your business efficiently. Right. Now, 2 is leadership. And so again, leadership is about curiosity. So many times, leadership has been about guidance. It's you kind of telling people what to do, and embracing AI is probably is requiring everybody to make a shift, right? Because most people, the majority of the population, don't have a in-depth knowledge around AI. So even you as a leader are in the process of learning. And so it's about having those conversations with your employees. I'm pretty sure your employees don't expect you to have all the answers around AI, but where your leadership skills come in is actually helping them to understand, empower them, but working alongside them, helping them to see that, hey, we're going to implement this together, and helping them even address some of those concerns they may have around losing their job or AI replacing them, and helping them understand that in order to have a truly successful company, you have to actually integrate both of them. So you can't just have one or the other. It's not one or the other. It's integration of both humans and AI. And again, we're going to talk about that. But again, in leadership, when we're talking about mind shifts, we're talking about, it's not knowing everything now, it's your willingness to learn, your willingness to encourage your team to learn. Right. It's no longer about you necessarily controlling, like, you go do this is everything, the process. I mean, there will be some area where you have to create structure, but can you be a coach? Can you help coach them on like how these new processes, how they can start to implement AI to be more productive, to be more efficient, to help them be more creative? And so it's going to open the door. As we talk more, you'll see AI is going to open the opportunity for them to learn more skills, to add more creativity to your organization. And so that's where you as a leader can help coach them. You can see here, it's not about commanding, it's about empowering. How do you empower your team to now embrace this thing to even grow better, bigger organization, and help empower them to be able to do more efficiently, and for them to feel good about what they're offering to the team. Right. And so again, we talked about teams. So a lot of these are overlapping a little bit, but reinvention 3 is we're reinventing teams. And as I mentioned before, many people have this concern about losing their job, but the reality is we need humans and we need AI. AI cannot run on its own, and AI truly has to have the decision making, the problem solving. It needs guidance. And so even though it does a lot and has a lot of intelligence, you still have to be able to guide it to get the outputs that you really want. And so again, it's not about one or the other, it's about how do you get them to work together. Right. So again, the best teams are going to help be integrating both of those together. Right. The next one is productivity. So how are we going to reinvent productivity? And so again, again, my background again in physical therapy, I could probably tell you half of my day goes into documentation, right? So I have to go look into the chart, I have to research all the things that's happened with this patient, go see the patient, and then spend even more time documenting. So if half of my day is documenting, that means those are patients I can't see. And so when you start to think about your employees, there are a lot of things that tasks that your employees are doing and that are draining their time and draining their energy, and is pulling them away from the things that are going to be the most efficient for your business and helping you grow. So I don't know if you've heard of the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, where basically if you think about a given task, or if you're trying to get a certain job done, about 80% of those tasks that are required to get that job done are administrative. They're kind of repetitive tasks. They're not really things that are going to move the session forward, right? Or move the that task forward. There's kind of those background mundane tasks that have to be done. But whereas the 20% are the things that actually move the needle. Those are the things, if we're talking about business, those are the things that help you get clients, help you get a sales call, help you book that client, help you follow up. Those are the things that are going to actually help you make money, right? Generate revenue. But then you got all these other tasks that you have to have in place. You got to send emails, you got to do all these other things. You got to have, your team meetings, all those things that go along with it, but those are not productivity. Those are not things that are going to actually add to the revenue of the company. And so when we start to look at productivity, we start to look at what are the big rocks. So when we first look at, so when we think about the rocks, you want to look at the tasks that only a human can do. So what are the tasks that your team can do, whether it be the decision making, building relationships. So if we're talking about customers, like building certain relationships, the sales calls, those things that are going to actually help you build the relationships with your clients, the leadership skills, the soft skills that AI or software can't do. Those are the things that we want to focus on having our team develop and build those skills. And then we fill the jar with sand. So the sand in the pebbles would be those repetitive tasks, as I mentioned earlier. So all those administrative tasks, sending emails, follow up, customer service questions, like how can you organize those to where now you can take those off the plate your of your team. So then now that frees them up to now do some more creative tasks, be more efficient, and be able to help work on more of the things that's going to help them be more productive and move your business forward. Right. And so again, it's not about automating people, it's about automating those tasks that are draining them, that are preventing them from being the most efficient. And so again, we need both humans and AI, but it's how do we combine them together so that we maintain the humanity in the relationship of our business within our teams as well as with our clients, but then we're using AI to help automate the things that's going to allow us to move faster and be more productive. Right. And then the last one is about innovation. And so innovation begins when we remove weight. And so no, most people, I mean, probably the average person, I'm an average person, right? If you're going to climb a mountain, you think, hey, if I climb faster, then I'll get there sooner, right? But more experienced climbers, they actually, before they climb a mountain, they're trying to reduce their weight. They're trying to reduce, because that weight that they're holding is going to exert more energy, it's more effort, and it's going to weigh them down. And so part of what innovation looks like as in regards to incorporating AI means that we are now, just like we talked about before, you're removing those tasks, you're removing the weight from your team, you're removing the weight of even your personal tasks, those administrative tasks, those repetitive tasks, those things that you're doing, so that you can now have the freedom and the flexibility to innovate, right? If you have more time on your plate, you have more time to be creative, you have time to figure out different ways to use AI and just to integrate new things into your business. And so innovation is key when we're able to take away those repetitive things and actually free our team members up and free ourselves up, then we're able to innovate and actually grow and be more creative. And so again, in that innovation, or AI in general, is going to help protect our purpose. Like most people, when they start their business, they have a purpose, they have a mission, they have a vision of where that business is going. They want that business to go. But a lot of times we're limited in growing our business because we're so stuck into all these repetitive tasks, right? All these other things that have to get done. But again, they're not the ones that are going to move us forward. And so what it's going to do is actually it's going to protect our purpose. It's going to allow us now to really refocus, recalibrate, right, to focusing on the mission, the purpose, the thing that we actually got started in business with, and not being bogged down by all the repetitive tasks and all the administrative tasks that tend to bog us down. Right. And so again, what is the human advantage? So I mentioned we need to incorporate AI, but there's some soft skills. There's some things that AI can't do. You can teach it how to talk in a certain tone and certain voice, but ultimately these are things that require human touch. So empathy, the communication, the relationships, right? The creativity, judgment, trust, leadership. These are all soft skills that we need humans to be able to incorporate into our company. More, again, connection, the purpose, the vision, the ethics, the courage, adaptability. So these are all things that we can actually we can give them to AI and tell them that these are our ethics, these are our vision, this is how these are some of the things that we're our purpose, and it can help us kind of guide things. But ultimately it's the human, it's us that tells it, that feeds it what that true purpose and vision is. And so we need both. Right. And so again, the future belongs, again, not to the smartest. It doesn't belong to the fastest. It doesn't belong to the biggest. It belongs to the one that's the most adaptable. Right. So again, if as you really start to look at reinventing the workforce, reinventing what that looks like moving forward, it's 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 our responsibility, and in order to grow as leaders, in order to grow our organization, to be one of those individuals and leaders who are willing to adapt, who are willing to embrace the new things, and be willing to change, be willing to grow. I'm a firm believer in growth, and growth means change. If you're not changing, then you're going backwards. If you're not improving, then you're going backwards, right? And so we have to be adaptable. We have to be willing to grow, willing to learn, and willing to adapt. And when you do that as a leader, then your team will also be really willing and ready to do that as well. All right. So again, the goal is to reinvent before you have to. Again, AI is not going anywhere, it's here. And so the question is, will you begin to reinvent your workforce, or will you wait until you have to and you're forced to do so because everybody else is already doing it and now you're left behind trying to catch up? So you have the ability now to start to implement some of these things now. All right. And so I appreciate your time. I hope you got some great value from what I shared with you today. And so again, here's my contact information. If you're wondering, like, how do I start to actually, if you're wondering how to start to implement AI into your corporation, what does that look like for building your team? Then, hey, Melinda, your speaker's on. Hey, Melinda, if you can hear me, your speaker's on. But if you can, so would you like to hear more about how this process works, help with implementing into your corporation, feel free to reach out to me on any of these handles. And also, I have a gift for you. I want to offer you an opportunity to work with my one of my first AI team members. She's Stella, my AI brand strategist. Because before you can start reinventing, you really have to have clarity. You have to have clarity on what your mission is, your goals, your positioning, your company is in the workforce, in the marketplace, and then what that looks like moving forward. So AI, Stella will actually help you work through those things. So, Melinda, I'll turn it back over to you. Hey, Melinda.
Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation today. Can you hear me?
Hey, Melinda, I can hear you. I can't see you.
Yeah, 1 second. I don't know why I'm not able to turn on my video, but just give me a second. Yeah. Can you see now, Malika?
No, it's still a black. Oh, now I see. Yes.
Yeah. So thank you so much for the presentation, Malika. So yes, Malika has shared her code. So if you want to reach out to her personally.
I'm sorry, it
And
sounds a
also
little
there are
choppy. I can't hear you.
So this is the question of the audience. What inspired you to develop this framework, and what challenges does it address for its leaders?
So, hey, Melinda, it looks like it sounds like you might be having some technical issues. You're kind of choppy on my end. I guess I'll just while she's doing that, while she's seeing if she can get her video, I'll just kind of I see there's one question here. What inspired you to develop the framework and what challenges does it address for today's leaders? Again, it's one as leaders reshifting the mindset of how we operate as leaders of an organization, in having to as leaders, I think it's going to be hard. You have to kind of help your first make the mindset set shift yourself of how we're going to start to try to implement. We're going to be exploratory. We're going to have curiosity around what AI looks like for our business. So exploring and then helping to shift that mindset to your team, because early on, a lot of the team members probably will have some fear around like, oh, am I going to have a job? Am I going to lose my job? How does this going to all change everything? And so a lot of the things early on are going to be around helping to manage the expectations of your team, and then shifting into what it looks like, being curious about how can we help the team members that we have, how can we help them be more productive, how can we help them be more creative, how can we help them be better and what they're doing in our industry, in their company. Or any other questions? I don't see any other questions in the chat.
Questions from the audience. Thank you so much for joining this.
Thank
So
you.
you have a great day, and please do join our next speaker, who is already in the
All right,
backstage,
thank you.
Jose Angel. And please
All right,
support him as well, and share your thoughts and share your experiences and share your questions. Thank you. You have a
all
great
right.
day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.